Ladies and gentlemen, weighing in at 200 pounds, standing at 6'1" tall, the number one overall ranked fantasy coach, we have the Aussie Frost King, Des Hazell's magic touch. We've got Mark. How you doing, mate?
Good, Longy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I was just waiting for the round of applause to break out, but I think that's going to come after we actually post this. So,
Cheers
exciting
for the
times.
intro, mate. I loved it.
Well, look, your number one spot right now. So you've got the aura of that first place position. I know I've been watching you for a while. We've been chatting in lives all the time. So, guys, a lot of you probably know him already. Aussie Frost King on YouTube. You've been sitting in the top 10 for quite a while now. But
Yeah.
when did you first crack that top 10 and when did you get into first place?
I cracked the top 10 around about round 11, round 10, round 11, and cracked first place last week.
Mate, first place. How'd you feel seeing that jump into number one?
It was a good feeling, eh? I didn't expect it to feel as good as it actually did, but yeah, no, it was a really good feeling.
Isn't it crazy? You look at your little app, right? Or you look at the computer and you see that little number one pop up. Live rankings too, so it would have been during a game. Was there a play that happened that caused you to go to number one, or was it just throughout the game?
It happened more through the updates. I went to number one.
Oh, how good. Right,
Yeah.
so someone at Fantasy HQ is written for you then.
I hope so.
Mate, cheering. All right, so you're number one right now. Looking at the run home, looking at your team. This is the team, by the way, here, guys. Are you backing yourself to go all the way?
Yeah, mate. I'll win it for sure.
You win it for sure. All right. We got some confidence to work with here. Well, let's ride that confidence wave here. I want to look back and let's look at the team here first. So I'm going to do a bit of a review of it live with you guys. But Damien Cook, elite hooker, high upside, massive scoring. We've got Fainu, Koloamatangi, and Watson. Then Fafita and Crichton. So 4 out of 5 are elite forwards. So quite a strong forward pack. We've got Jerome Hughes, Lockie Galvin in the halves. And then a very strong backline here with Garrick, Karaz, Drinkwater, Campbell, and Tedesco. So not a lot of problems to solve here, really. Probably adding an additional forward at some point, maybe from the bench we'll look at. And that Cleary conundrum as well is the other thing. Going down to the bench here, we've got Harry Grant, Tyron Wishart, Cale Iro, Jack DeBellin, Tom Starling, Sean Bloor, Fletcher Sharp, and Max Plath. So across the board, again, you've got 7 pretty strong scorers here. Wishart at a great price to sell. And some other guys you could potentially hold on to too. Already got Starling. Overall, man, I'm looking at your team, and I've had to look through some of the other teams. I don't think you have that many problems to solve.
Just a little bit weaker in the forward pack, but yeah, I've got the depth, I think. So I'm bringing in Cleary and Casey McLean this week, and I'm just going to run with that side and leave the rest of the trades for injury.
How many trades left is it after that?
3 for the run home.
3, okay. 3 with Cleary. Has it crossed your mind at all to skip away from Cleary?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, so much upside if Cleary doesn't go well. I just find it too risky for me in my position. So, yeah, I've gone against it. I'm going to get him in.
Yeah, first place. It's a hard call to make. I got to be honest. I'm considering for my side, so I'm ranked 220th, right? So not a lot to lose compared to you. But I'm looking at it going, maybe I anti-pod Cleary. There is a play there. He's the best player in fantasy. He scored well last week, but there is that injury history. Penrith are looking good for the finals already.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be looking at that 4-peat. They could give him a rest. If you were sitting in a different rank, would you be thinking differently about this?
Yeah, I'd definitely consider at least waiting an extra week.
Yeah, wait 1 week. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're captain him this week then?
Yeah.
Oh, big moves. All right, let's look back, man. Let's go through your team here because obviously getting into first place, you got to make some very big and very strong moves. And sometimes they're subtle moves as well. But often it's just you get on a guy early or you show faith in a certain player or you pick and stick with a certain strategy or whatever it is there. So I want to hear from you, man. What is your strategy in fantasy and how do you think it's different to other players?
My strategy is just get consistent players. I love consistency. And yeah, also it's just been a little bit of luck, mate. Like, you've got to have the luck, or you're not going to get there. But yeah, consistency is definitely what I look for, and just a good track record for injuries and things like that.
Yeah, that's reflected by your team here too, because is that where you'd steer away from a guy like Tommy Trbojevic or Reece Walsh compared to like a Garrett Karaz type?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah. I think that's worked this year too, because I'm looking at your squad and people have had problems with injuries this year. Fielding 17's been hard. Your team's quite deep compared to a lot of teams, so not a lot of sort of dead weight on the bench. Has that been an intentional strategy as well?
Yeah, well, it's just getting through the buys with the full team every round. So and everything just sort of fell into place from there. Like I was selective on the players I brought in, obviously. Like Jack DeBellin, I brought in for the buys, and now I've decided to hold him because I haven't got enough trades to get rid of him, and I'm going to put the faith in him to get me 50 plus.
Jack DeBellin, mate. We've had a few debates about that on lives. JDB, but your strategy is working, so I can't really argue with you too much. Going back to the start of the year too. So start of the year, I remember you were a big part of this. Lukey versus Hosking, that whole debate. I know that was a big win for you.
Yeah, I think that's what put me in the position I'm in to start with, picking Hosking over Lukey to start my team. Yep. If I had gone with Lukey, then I can't see myself being in the same position.
Yeah, Hosking went beast mode, and then I remember we were talking before. You had some moves even during round one where you made adjustments. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, because we've got the Vegas round, and that's played so much earlier, I could watch the players from that, see how they went, and then I had Satili Tupanua, who went really bad, and Terrell May went really good. So I readjusted my trades to make sure I had enough money in the bank so I'd go Tupanua straight to May in one trade, and so I only used one trade in the second round.
Yeah. Mate, that's clean. I think you got to make those moves too, because you want to maximize adjustments with minimal trades early on in the season. You want to try and back the guys you picked in the preseason as well. So that's a bit of a veteran move, man. So you've been playing fantasy for a long time?
Yeah, mate. 10 years, or 2013, the year you won it. I came top 1,000, about 860 or so. And then the next year I came 14th. So, yeah, it was a bit of a jump.
Oh, so this isn't a fluke then. You've had a couple of big wins.
Oh, I used to get called a one-hit wonder, so never know.
I mean, if you win it, you get to, wipe away all those critiques. You'd have a better record than me as well, because my second best season is a 72nd rank. So that was actually the year that you were 14th. So that year I was around 10th, 15th kind of thing with about 5 rounds to go, and I just took maximum risk to try and win it all.
Yeah,
and blew out. So I think we've got different play styles, but they both work in their own way.
Yeah.
I
find my play style can change depending on how my season's going too. Obviously. So.
Yeah, you've got to adjust depending on where you are. So first place, you've got to be a little bit more conservative in a way, but at the same time, you've got to keep playing the way that has gotten you into first place. Because I'm looking at the list here, and it's 16,909 for you points. And then you go down the list, it's not a big margin. So it's 20 points to second, 40 to third, 60 to fourth. It's all quite tight. So you still got to keep playing, still got to keep swinging. I want to talk, though, with you about some of those worst moves. So tell me about some of the bad trades you made, some of the mistakes you made, because I think there's a myth where people think if you get to first place, it's because you were perfect. And that's really not the case.
Yeah, I'd say my worst one was when I brought Hines back in early and captained him. And what did he get me? And then, that just sort of nearly ruined me.
Oh, sorry, mate. I might have been the one saying to do that as well.
At the end of the day, I always follow my own gut. So,
yeah.
Use you as a guide and follow my gut.
Yeah, Hines was a rough one because objectively it was an awesome option to take. He was coming back. He is the best player in fantasy at that point. No Nathan Cleary, right, at that point as well. Had a really good buy schedule, so played round 19. Like objectively, it was fantastic to make that move. But and even the fixtures, like I think you had the Tigers and maybe your Titans or someone like that coming up. So I was high on that one too. It scarred me a bit though, and I think a lot of people are thinking about that when they think about Cleary now.
Yeah, well, that's what held me back from getting him last week. And then I actually wasn't even planning on getting him this week until he got the score he got, and everyone's getting him in. So now I've got to.
Yeah, because he was floating pretty low. Like he sort of started hot. He got about 23 points in the first 17 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then he sat in the 20s for about 30, 40 minutes and then sort of boosted up towards the end. So
Mm.
No, there was the chance that he was going to go quite low last week, and then extra time, that second try assist, all those things sort of bumped him up.
Yeah, so I'm worried getting him in this week that it's going to be the week that he does go low and Luai takes over some of the kicking duties and all that fun stuff. But as I said, you just got to go for it at the end of the day. I'd rather kick myself for getting him in than kick myself for not getting him in, being where I am.
Now, it's so close too, because if you look down the list, and let's actually look at some of these competitors.
Yep.
So I just want to quickly highlight a non-competitor. There's me with a pathetic 13.3 million team value compared to your 13.8. So even oh mate, way off. I'm way off. Even that 25 points around behind. You're flying. So let's go down this list here. So your 13.8. First thing I want to call out here is it's pretty strong. So we've got ethical with 13.9, but then we've got 13.5, 13.7, 13.6, 6, 7, 8, 3. There's quite a few people mostly sitting a bit below you. Let's look at this list though, and who jumps out at you as a big threat?
Benji's Busters, just because
Number 5.
because they've got 9 trades left, and yeah, you can do a lot with trades. The team doesn't scare me as much, but the trades do.
9 trades is big. So I mean, if I'm reviewing Benji's team, I'm sort of going, all right, good hooker. Plath needs to be sorted out. Sorensen is a good bench guy, but not as good as your starters. Then you got Cleary already with Hughes. Ethan Strange and Jai Gray and Wishart all need to be sorted out as well. Then I guess you can bring Curran into that starting side. You can use
Well.
Yeah, Galvin too. Ira's a pseudo keeper. Yo comes in, like you said. And McInnes is one that I don't know. McInnes and Nakora, they're sort of fringe keepers.
Yeah.
It's a good side. If he's got 9 trades, he's going to have to. I mean, Ira comes into center. He's going to have to sort out wing, fullback, and center. So he probably gets McLean. Might even start McLean, potentially, looking at this team. And then could sit on Gray for this week and get Ponga next week. Might be someone looking at Walsh, but Walsh has that flu now. So, that's concerning. Tough spot. I don't know. I like your team a bit better as being more set up, but the 9 trades means he can sort of fire some shots here.
That's what scares me is just the trades. Whereas you look at the guy in second, like his team's really good, so he scares me team wise, but Benji scares me trade wise.
And I think he's got a similar number of trades to you, but
yeah.
I mean, like Carrigan, Madison. I've got Katoa. He's been a bit inconsistent as well. Parramatta this week though, so he should go well. No Cleary yet. Good backline like you. Yeah, so guys like Eisenhuth, Curran, Nakora, Dom Young is an interesting pod for the run home. I think he's going to get some dry weather games and sort of pop off a bit. But
he was on 56 last week and he downdated to 44. Wow.
Yeah, he dropped off a bit, but I don't know. He's getting a lot of ball. Joey Manu's back soon. Like, if I had Dom Young, I'd get him for the run home.
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't be getting rid of him.
Yeah, even as a loophole option. So there's a bit of cash here, but he's got to make some trades. That's the challenge for ethical fantasy squad. Why do you reckon he calls himself ethical?
I can see Katoa, that 36 doesn't look good, but that'll probably be a 65 this week. So, he's definitely a strong keeper. Carrigan's 23, that'll probably be a 60 easily again this week. Madison, I can see him going big at lock. So I can definitely see his team going quite well. And he's got the same backline as me, whereas that's my strength. So,
yeah, I mean, you've got Karaz versus Whiten as the big difference there. So Whiten's been good lately, but historically he's about a 43 average at 5'8", whereas Karaz is looking more like a 50 guy. So you should make up a few points in that spot. Yeah. We'll see if he gets Cleary as well, because I think Wishart sort of forces him to get Cleary.
I can 100% he'll go Wishart to Cleary, I reckon.
Unless he antipods. That could be the play too.
Wouldn't surprise me the fact that he captained Cook. He's a brave player.
Mate, he would have been fuming when Cook moved to centre. Like, he would have been thinking, I'm done. And Cook pumps out 156 run meters, 2 try assists. Like, insane game.
Yeah.
Hey, It goes that way sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyone else down this list that's jumping out? I mean, Baldy, I like his team name. I assume he's one of us bald fellas.
Yeah,
but-
mate. Yeah, they're all quite good, to be honest with you. It's just it's either the back line or the forwards where people have got a bit of a difference. You know, they've either got a stronger forward pack or a stronger back line or a bit more depth.
Yeah, because we did have a look before, and we're going down the list, looking for some high team values. So, one season wonder, for example, he's down in
Yep.
rank 20. He's 14 million plus, so he's in a good spot there. He's about 250 points behind, which it takes a lot to gain 250 points across 7
Yeah,
weeks. So, 35 points a week. So he's going to have to take some shots. He's already got Cleary. He's captain Cleary, which is ballsy. I think it's pretty good. I like the Crichton feeder combo. In the back row. He's got problems to sort out with Strange and Wishart, but I think from memory he's got a few. Yeah, so Iro can come in. Here we go. Hughes on the bench as well. Got a good bench. Probably just needs to sort out the wing fullback spot there with Wishart. So I'll see which way he goes. If I was him, I'd be looking at like a pod. And I'm not saying get this guy, but Brian Toer, for example, is pretty expensive to be an option to look at. Maybe one of those guys that no one owns who has that big upside, because he's going to need a few of those plays to come off.
Oh, definitely. If you got Brian Toho, that'd scare the crap out of me.
Yeah. And you have Cleary anyway, so you'll get all the try assists, but
yeah.
Yeah, so he's in a spot. I mean, it would have been different. Like Latrell's back in round 24 as well, potentially. That's a bit late. So originally that was looking more like 21, 22, 23.
Yeah.
But if he was back next week, that would be a pod that people could target as well. Like, I don't know, just when you get down to this area, you've really got to pot up.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
We talked to before about so going down the list here, and this is where, look, as a number one, right? So the year I won, I was sitting in number one from about round 11 that year.
Yeah.
And you look down the list, and so you don't have to do this, man, but I was running spreadsheets on everyone's teams, and running forecasts and like looking at like especially down the back end, looking at my trades and being like, oh, what does this open me up to in terms of pods and all that. It was a bit of a different season, so I was ahead by a few hundred points, so I could play a bit more conservative. But looking down the list, you don't want to get too obsessed with down the list. You want to keep playing the way that got you into number one.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Do you want to shout out though Rihanna's boys? So Rihanna's come in with a 14.58 million team value, which is that's the most by like 500k. Like that's huge. You mentioned before that she's been up around the top.
Yeah, I've always seen her up around in the top 15 sort of thing. She's always been up around there. So, yeah, it's been doing really good. It's funny because I've been up around the top since round 10 sort of thing. I've seen so many people come and go.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the permanent. You're the regular.
It's starting to feel like that.
Just sitting at the bar. All these people are drifting in. Was there anyone that came up and you thought, oh, that guy's going to stay, and they just didn't?
Not really. Just because was always so close to everyone, I could always see myself overtaking them. And it was always so I'd always overtake the people that were ahead of me, but it was always someone from behind that would jump up above me then. So that would keep me back from first. So yeah.
It's a good time to go to first right now. Like around 21.
Yeah.
Run home. 7 weeks is a long time though. It is a long time.
It is. I feel it's timed well though. Good time. And I was saying to a few of my mates, I'm going to go to first after the buys, so that worked out.
Well, are these the same mates that said you wouldn't make the top 1,000 again?
No.
They're the other ones.
They don't talk to me anymore.
Oh yeah, you're too good now. Well, let's look at Ree's team. So, because this is high value, so you've got some. Actually, I like this. Like, there's a lot of pods in this team. So Barnett, bit of a pod. Preston is a pod with a lot of risk and a lot of upside. Then backline's pretty straightforward. It's strong, but it's pretty regular. The bench is where it gets really interesting. So Dylan Walker, Chris Randall. Do you like either of those guys? Because I'm getting a lot of questions actually about whether people should buy Dylan Walker right now.
I don't really like Dylan Walker. As a Titans fan, I was interested in Chris Randall just because I think that spot's his now. I don't think Joel coming back's going to interfere with him. I think he's going to play 70 minutes. So, yeah, even though he's coming off for 44, I can see him scoring really well. I was very close to getting him. Ooh. Him and Curran I like the look of as well, around similar price.
Yeah, Randall comes up good too. When we were doing the hooker analysis, his numbers are strong. Like, it's a small sample size. He did score tries in 2 of the 4 games at hooker, but at the same time, you're a Titans fan. He's a bit of a try scorer, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's a tackle machine, Yeah, I remember at the Knights, he made something like 60 tackles in a game. It was ridiculous.
Well, 2 weeks ago against Para, he cranked out about, I think it was 50 tackles and no misses in that game. So
yeah.
I mean, Para don't.
Yeah, no, I rate him. I'm not going to get him now. Obviously, I can't, but yeah, I rate him.
Yeah, he's a decent shout. And then you get on this bench, you got Isaiah Yeo sitting here, you got Mitch Moses down here as well, Dylan Edwards. Edwards is a pod down the stretch. Kind of interesting.
Yeah. When do they reckon Edwards is back?
I'm hearing it's still sort of 2 to 3 weeks. And they'll be conservative with it as well. This is the problem with Penrith players. Like, they're a great team, but they know they're in the top 4 and they're going for the 4-peat. I don't think they care about the minor premiership at all.
Yeah, I don't. I can see Cleary not being rested in the last round, though, maybe just because he had such a big rest with his injury. So,
yeah,
he plays the last round.
Yeah,
but that's why I've been staying away from the Warriors players too, just because you don't know who's going to be rested in the last round.
Yeah, well, you lose them on the bye. Yeah, so that's actually a bit tricky for Ree's team with Walker and also Barnett from the Warriors. You probably want to hold on to, but it could be dicey. I think this is actually one of the highest value teams. I want to show you two. Yes, we looked at this before. Super funny. There's this team that's popped up that has a massive squad value. Where are they? Here we go. 15.577 million. So Anderson's combined team, he's ranked 78,000th. I reckon he's made the team during the season.
He must have.
Wait a second. I reckon this is a glitch. That's definitely a glitch.
Yeah, it'd have to be.
Yeah, that's a glitch. Yeah, that team is not worth. That's not worth 2 million, let alone 15 million.
Yeah, wow.
Sorry about that. He's out. He's gone. Here we go. So yeah, because Ree's that one that's up top there. Then yeah, no one else really with that big value is sort of sitting in a top spot.
Yeah, see, I was over 14 mil a month ago, and then the prices started falling on all the players.
Yeah, they start to drop off. What are you thinking for future weeks? So looking at your team, right, you hold 3 trades.
Yep.
Are you thinking about much next week, the week after, going forward?
So I've got Garrick out next week. I've looked into what players I've got out in which weeks and who's going to cover for them, and I'm pretty happy with it all, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got Garrick. So Garrick, Teddy, and Drinkwater all have buys coming up.
Yep, and Crichton and Watson up there as well.
Yeah, well, Crichton, Watson, Teddy, that singular week. But your cover's deep. You've got a deep squad. Casey McLean should be solid for you. Kale Iro can come into center. This is the thing with your team too that I'm actually really jealous about. So my centers just play center. Your centers all cover wing fullback. So Kale Iro, Casey McLean, you slide those guys in. Garrick, Karaz both go into the wing fullback spot.
Yeah,
you got built-in cover across the board.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the DPP. And I don't have to stack up on winger fullbacks in my bench.
It's clean. It's super clean. Is that a strategy of yours to go after dual position? Because you got heaps of those sorts of guys.
I won't get a play just because he's dual position, but I'll definitely put that into the way up on if I'm going to get a player or not.
Yeah.
Because it comes in so handy, and especially towards the end of the season when you're out of trades and you need to move players around to cover positions. It's invaluable.
Super valuable, 100%. I think it's something to consider as well when people are trading guys in or out. You've got guys like Ryan Madison, Scott Sorensen, all that sort of thing who, they're fringe keepers. They should be about a 50 average for the run home. Yeah. But the dual position is so valuable with those guys. You've got no buys coming up either. I just reckon for those sorts of guys, you try to hold on to them. Whereas, I don't know, Fino is DPP as well, but I just think he's a step below those two.
Yeah. And that's another thing that why I hold Plath is just because he covers the half too. And I can see that being handy towards the end of the season with no trades left.
Yeah, well, that's where I look at Lockie Galvin. I'm keen to hear your views on this too, but I think him as a rookie, he's had some injury troubles this year, not major, but a few of those. And the fact that they're sort of on that wooden spoon as well, I think he might get a rest down the stretch at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So you got to keep an eye on that. That's where I've seen a few people looking at buying Lockie Galvin, for example. And I just reckon let that one go, pay the extra 40K and get Fogarty instead. Or go down to Dylan Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be getting Galvin now. That'd be silly.
Yeah. And then Drinkwater, another one I want to talk to you about. So a lot of people are asking about selling Drinkwater. I think he's good enough at wing fullback.
Yeah.
Like he's not the top 3, but you plug him in, you get a decent enough score, and they have good fixtures on the run home.
Yeah, I was planning on getting rid of him. I got him for around 13, and then he just sort of stayed in my team, and he popped off a couple of good scores. And I'm like, I don't like playing around with winger fullbacks too much. So in the end, I just said, I'll keep him.
Yeah, you got to stick with him. I think you've got enough depth there that you can sort of play with that and then rely on the strength of this top section and get a bit of consistency out of that bottom section. So
because I had Latrell then too. That's when I was going to sell Drinkwater because I had Mitchell. Yeah. Once he got injured, then I decided to just keep drinking.
That would have been crazy. Tedesco, Campbell, Latrell. Mate, we were robbed of the best backline in fantasy. That's clean. Oh. All right, cool, man. Well, look, thanks for jumping on today. It's been awesome having you on. It's been really cool to see, behind the scenes on your team. Thanks for being so open as well. Yep. Appreciate that. I know some people would hold their cards close to their chest, but you've been super open with it.
Yeah, no, mate. If you're gonna win, you're gonna win. So yeah, watch out.
If you're gonna win, you're gonna win. Words of wisdom from the Aussie Frost King, Des Hasler's touch. Thank you, mate, for jumping on, guys. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions as well. Cheers, man. All right, catch you, man. Have a good one.
See you, mate.